Good morning, good morning, good morning on this beautiful Sunday freezing morning. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. So listen, what's the title of this? Purgatory. My goodness, Sheena, could you pick a better subject for a Sunday morning? Let's get everybody depressed already. This is a good thing. I promise it's a good thing. But that just reminds me about something about one time when I went to a mass on a Christmas day, and it was a new place, and I brought my kids down, and oh my goodness, the priest was just all about hell, fire and damnation and everything. And I got up and left, and somebody said, is everything okay? I said, yes, I just need to leave. I just need to be somewhere else. And I was thinking, I just need to be somewhere else where it's happy, because he was damning Father Christmas and everything. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is supposed to be a day of joy and not a day of criticism. And so that's what, like, that just popped into my head to say that. So purgatory. Isn't it funny what we've been brought up to believe? There's so many beliefs that you've got ingrained in your system that drive your behaviors. And most of them aren't true. Did you know you could choose your beliefs? You could have new beliefs. Whatever belief you wanted, you can actually install yourself. It's kind of funny. Like, we've been programmed and we can't even see. We're so unaware of all the programming that is in us. And because we're unaware of it, we literally cannot see. Like, the eye cannot see itself. I mean, you're looking at me now, but you cannot see your own eye, can you? No. The eye cannot see itself. The only way it can see itself is by looking at other people and other things. And so we think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. And yet we project it on, it's them doing that, it's them doing this, it's them doing that. But actually what you've been shown is your own belief system. Yeah. And when you react, you can see your belief system. What is your belief system? So here's the thing, isn't it, about purgatory? It was kind of funny, wasn't it? Like, whenever I was younger, and purgatory, being brought up Catholic, was that place that you would go to if you weren't good, like a little waiting room. That if you died and you hadn't been good, that you had to go into this wee waiting room to see whether you could actually go into heaven or not. I mean, it's just laughable, but go with me, because this is what the beliefs were. Yeah. The other one is that if a baby wasn't christened, that they wouldn't get into heaven. If they weren't christened, they would go literally into purgatory, and that would be them forever. I mean, my mum is so ingrained in this that whenever somebody's baby wasn't being christened, that whenever they didn't know, she took the baby to a priest to be christened, so that the baby would go to heaven. Like, that's how deeply she believed it. But yet when I questioned my mum about anything, like especially on Ash Wednesday, and I say, why do you get the ashes on your head? And she says, well, because you have to. Well, why? What does it mean? Well, if you went to Mass, Sheena, you would know. And I went, no, I'm asking you to tell me. You've been to Mass for 70 years. What are you doing it for? Why are you doing it? And you know what? She didn't know. And yet, whenever I was sitting there and I watched the nun do the ashes on her head, the nun said, believe, receive. And I was like, wow. I hadn't even heard that. Believe, receive. My mum didn't hear it either, because she did things over and over because she was told to do them. What are you doing over and over? What beliefs do you have that are causing you to suffer? So I looked at this term purgatory, and I thought, it's a suffering place. It's like a cleansing place. It's like, you are cleansing something from you, and it appears like you're not there, but you're not there. And there's this space in the middle. So for anybody, are you doing personal development and that you were here and you realize, well, I don't want to be here anymore. But then there's this new place that you want to go to, but you're not there either. And there's like this in-between space. Does anybody recognize that? And in this in-between space, you no longer resonate with where you were, but you're not where you want to be. And I saw that when I went, my goodness, that's what purgatory is. But we can hold ourselves there for a lot longer than what is absolutely necessary. I do not believe for one instant that you have to suffer. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that you have to suffer. It says ask, believe, receive. Ask, believe, receive. Doesn't say ask, suffer, believe, suffer, receive. No, it doesn't. So we hold ourselves in purgatory. We have been told that we have to be cleansed. Now, there's no doubt about it that, for anybody who's done any personal development, and you're cleansing and you start to become aware of, all the crap that you've been holding on to. And it starts to come up, especially when I started studying with Bob Proctor. And, one of the lessons, well, all of the lessons basically are making you aware of what you are right now and how you're thinking. And my goodness, it is a bit of a shock to the system, because before I was gathering all of the knowledge, but the work wasn't actually being done. So I no longer resonated with where I was. I wasn't where I wanted to be. And all of these things were coming around, but I held myself in that suffering over and over and over again. And I see so many, especially coaches, holding yourself in suffering. It doesn't have to be that way. It's how we think. We have been taught to think in a certain way from childhood. We are like a corporate breeding ground from childhood. And we go through school and we are taught how to think the whole way. We are told what to think, should I say, the whole way. And our thinking is actually backwards, so that we can go to a job and we can make other people rich and we can keep other companies rich. And we think that we have to stay down here. It doesn't have to be that way. It's about knowing how to think. And if we knew how to think, then we could get ourselves out of that in-between place a lot quicker, just by recognizing it. See, we call it the dark night of the soul and the cleansing of everything. And I guess as we're going through the journey, we sort of do that to ourselves. And it's all for the best. And we do pop out the other side. But it doesn't have to be. You hold yourself there. So what I've noticed is, and I did it myself, is that you know what to do, but you don't do it. Like the knowing doing gap that Bob Proctor would talk about. You know what to do, but you don't do it because the programming is so, and we call that ego. Ego isn't a thing, it's just a thought system. Now, here's the thing, by the way, don't believe a word I'm saying. I always say that because I can only talk to you from my experience and what I've learned, and I can help point a way to what I feel is like just a freer way to live. Right here, right now, because there is no other time. Now, you can choose to be in purgatory right now and choose to suffer. But do you realize that you're actually choosing it? Now, before, when you didn't know, and so you suffered, but you didn't know. When you've done any sort of form of personal development, you do know. You do know what to do. But actually, in a way, you don't, because you don't know how to think. You're still thinking backwards. And if we keep thinking backwards, we're actually ending up fighting ourselves and we get caught in this loop. But there is part of you that does know. And you do know that, oh my goodness, here's this situation again. Oh my goodness, let me do the poor me. Anybody recognize the poor me? I did it for so long. Now, it worked as a child and it worked with other people. It might have worked in relationships. It may have worked in your job. And you try to make it work with you, the poor me story. When things don't go your way. Poor me. And it's all a big drama. My goodness, I could have won an Oscar for my dramas, my internal dramas. I never showed them to anybody else. But the internal dramas, they don't work. They just help me keep stuck. And so when we know how to think, and you can start to unwind yourself and unlock it. And that's what Bob Proctor taught me. And so what I can see is just like I literally fall into if I get caught up in something, I go into the how to think. I'm thinking backwards again. Oops. And I change how I think. Don't hold yourself in purgatory. Do realize that you are holding yourself there. If you are suffering in any shape or form, you are choosing it. Now, I know some of you may go, no way, Sheena, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. You are actually choosing it. I hate to tell you. I remember whenever Sandy Gallagher said to me, she says, until you take 100% responsibility of everything that's happening in your life, Sheena, you will never have peace. But then that 100% responsibility, I took on board even more, and I took on more responsibility than I was even mine. So I went the opposite way. I mean, I took 100% responsibility for everybody else then, because I think this is my world. This is my fault if people are feeling like this. But this 100% responsibility is you. In any moment, you have a choice to be happy or sad, fear or love. Choose in the moment. As soon as you feel it coming on, like if somebody's with epilepsy, there's trigger signs. And they are taught to learn the trigger signs so that if they know an epileptic fit is going to come on, they catch the trigger at the beginning and they do something about it. This is what I'm asking you to do. I mean, you don't have to. You're not doing anything wrong. Your life is actually perfect. I mean, I thought that we had to stop ourselves from going through bad times, what we thought were bad times. But how do you know? You see, as soon as we, live in good and evil, we think there is good and evil, there's good and bad. But actually, everything is working out for you. And so we try to stop ourselves from going through bad stuff because we're so afraid. But what if you did that and you ended up doing something amazing because you went through that? And if you could see that everything was working out for you, it's not purgatory, is it? It is just literally, oh my goodness, something amazing is about to happen to me because I feel so shit. There has to be something really good. This is working out for me. I mean, let me give you an example. Whenever my first marriage, and I remember coming down the stairs and my mum's looking at me and I'm in my white dress and she says to me, Sheena, you don't have to do this. We can stop everything right now. My mum believed that I was walking into a marriage that was going to basically not last. And she wasn't wrong. She knew. She knew I was walking headlong into a disaster. But I just looked at her and I thought, how could you say that to me in this moment in time? And yes, that marriage just sort of crashed and burned very, very quickly. But what came out of it was a beautiful boy, a beautiful son, somebody to be loved in this world, who's going to go on and create something else even more wonderful than I could ever imagine. So just because, and like we do this with our children, we try and stop them from going through challenges because we think we know better. Everything is helping us grow. Everything is helping us understand and know our greatness. You will never be given more. Nothing is created or destroyed. We were never born, so we can never die. And we spend most of our time being scared of something. Ask yourself, what am I scared of? A thought? Am I letting a thought run my life? These thoughts come and go. You are greater than your thought. You are greater than your emotions. The body is an instrument of the mind. The mind is an instrument of something greater, which is what you are. Because you're aware of the mind and you're aware of your thoughts, you are greater than it. Who are you? What are you? So stop holding yourself in the suffering. Catch yourself like the epileptic fit. You have triggers. You have certain triggers. Catch them. And know in that moment, when this happens, normally I do this. Apparently now I have a choice. I have a choice to accept or reject this. In that moment is choice. That's lesson 2 of thinking into results. Choice, right there. Now, if you choose to carry on, don't beat yourself up that you chose the suffering. It's all just part of the process. I had to go to get to the point where I was more or less on bended knees. I chose to suffer until, like Bruce Almighty, on your knees and just going, I give up. I give up. It doesn't have to be that way. Start to choose now. Start to take that control. Take yourself out of purgatory. It's not real. We just choose the suffering. But no, even if you do choose the suffering, it's actually okay. It's actually okay. And just step back and look at your story and go, my God, what a wonderful story. Look at all that suffering I did to myself. I think I like my story. I know with Wolfgang's mum, she's so beautiful. And isn't the thing that, there's always something to complain about. And I can sit back and just smile and laugh at her and just go, isn't she beautiful in her story? That's the way my mum was, always complaining about something. And aren't they just beautiful in their stories? Always. So what are you complaining about? You love it. Whatever it is, you actually love it. And you're choosing it because it's part of your story. But you can change your story if you want to. And if you don't, then love yourself exactly where you are. There is no purgatory. You are just perfect and gorgeous and playing out a story. If you don't like that story, write it out, put a big X through it. Write out a new one. And like a whole new act, like a whole new scene, like a whole new chapter, read it and read it and read it and read it and play the part. That will be your new story. Or keep continuing with your current story. It's okay. Because in that okayness, if you make yourself okay in it, only the righteous will get into the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is your imagination, your body, your everything, closer to you than breath. You are heaven, or you are hell, whatever you choose it to be. So only the righteous will get into the kingdom of heaven. That means just be right. If you want to be a drama queen, be a drama queen. Be okay about it. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. Know that for today. Know that for today, that you are perfect. That everything is perfect if you give up the idea of what perfect is. Know that there's a higher power flowing through you. And you are that higher power because all is one. There is nothing else. You're perfect. Can you be that today and be okay with you? Because instead of in this personal development journey, which there isn't, it's actually just a clearing away of all the crappy thinking. One by one, those beliefs go. And instead of trying to be the vibration, I will be, I am a millionaire, or whatever it is you want to be. You can sit right here, right now, and just be, it's okay to be me. I'm perfect and there's nobody else like me. Who am I trying to fit in for? Who am I trying to be this for? And just be you. That is the relaxing of every muscle and cell in your body that just goes, oh, yes, yes, it's okay. Nobody's like me. Why am I trying to be like somebody else? I am so unique. No, you're not special because everybody's the same, but you are unique and you're beautiful and you're gorgeous. And the power that created you thought you were perfection itself and wanted to experience life as you. Let yourself off the hook. You're gorgeous, beautiful, and perfect, no matter what judgment you have. Release all judgments and you release yourself out of purgatory. Have no opinion and just say it is what it is. That's it. Have the most blessed day. And rest in the fact that you're right, but so is everybody else. See you now.